What's up, everybody? Um, this is not the video I said it would be because I've been busy as fuck. I don't remember when it was. It wasn't too long ago. I made a video about ghosting. And I kind of toyed with it and played with it and tried to figure out that one specific instance, which turned out being her basically ghosting because of her past indiscretions and me being associated with them through people I knew and so on and so forth. Um, had another issue with it here recently, so I started thinking about it again, trying to boil down into so I'm busy. I literally cannot be left alone. Tax returns have come, and everyone in the world needs their car fixed. I'm gonna patiently wait. In the meantime, maybe you can see Poby. Yeah. Look how green those eyes are. Good Lord, girl, you're gorgeous. Alright, so anyway, back on track here. That was one specific situation. Dealt with another one. Kind of wanted to dive into it deeper. Started asking around people, just getting people's opinions and blah blah blah, personal experiences and stuff. Because it's very frustrating to be ghosted. Now, I mean that more just in dating. It's frustrating as hell to be ghosted by family or clients or potential customers or friends or you name it. Pretty much any relationship. When somebody ghosts, I find it to be extremely immature and disrespectful. Which, yes, it is. Um, so let's go through some of the reasons here. Firstly, that men and women might ghost, and then we're probably just going to go more into why women do. Um, First and foremost is the obvious answer of they're spineless and afraid of confrontation. They find it easier just to not talk about it and pretend like the problem does not exist rather than to resolve the problem. Men and women do this. It's typically more effeminate men that do it and women, but everybody does it. They just don't want to face a problem, so ignore it. If they ignore it, it doesn't exist, right? Say that, they just didn't like you that much or they don't want to talk to you anymore and they're just too afraid to tell you that. Much easier, just ignore it. Then we have the secondary issue of, well, it's more for the women, really. Well, let's just go. I'm just doing it on the fly. Fuck it. So the secondary issue too that is you're associated with or reminding them of previous indiscretions or bad situations. Let's say you're friends with their ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, and they know that ultimately you're going to find out about how she or he cheated or stole all his money or her money, stuff like that. So it's a way to um, try to save face and again not deal with the things that have happened or have been done. It's much easier to run from those problems than to face them. Um, Along that same line is, with the shame and guilt. I've noticed particularly because I enjoy bars and clubs and stuff. People from bars and clubs and stuff will ghost like crazy. And obviously, I'm only dealing with women here, but dialing in on that and thinking about that's oftentimes when that happens is when they were really drunk that night or whatever. You could have had the best night in the world, like laughed, talked, had an intimate conversation, danced, done whatever, just had a wonderful, wonderful time with them. And then boom, you'll never hear from them again. And typically it's because shame and guilt. They feel ashamed of maybe kissing you too fast, or they might feel shame and guilt from connecting with you so quickly. They might feel shame and guilt from their peer group of like, oh, no, 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 you can't talk to somebody you met at a bar. That's no, no, no. Um, and then you got to think about with women particularly, they want that story, So how can I tell mom and dad that I met him at a bar or whatever? So shame and guilt is another huge, huge thing. Now, with the bar scenario, has a lot to do with alcohol consumption and just kind of the general environment. It's very easy to come close quickly in those environments. Um, but yeah, a lot of people will be ashamed of that for those multiple reasons. Um, Now, there's ways, if you, what can we call it? Mitigating ghosting. If you are like me and like to go to bars and clubs, um, if they want to get overly physical too quick, or what seems like it should be too quick, don't allow them. Then they won't have that shame and guilt. They might get mad that you didn't do it, so they might ghost you then too, just out of ego. But you can mitigate some ghosting by, not allowing too much to happen too quickly, like taking them home that night or whatever. That would definitely strike in some shame and guilt, and probably never hear from them again. Um, so mitigate alcohol consumption, mitigate the amount of physical contact, and stuff like that is a good way to do it. Now, if you really want to mitigate ghosting and dating, I would say it's probably better off to meet women or men in places that are not involving alcohol at all, and also during the day and not at night. Um, then they don't have any of that plausible deniability um, to ghost you on that. Um, it's much harder to dismiss somebody that you met, at a the art show at 2 p.m. Than it is somebody that you met at 1:30 a.m. at a nightclub. You got to do a lot more of some mental gymnastics to justify that. You know what I'm saying? So you get where I'm going with that. It's funny with women though; they need the plausibility to hook up, and they also need plausibility to not hook up. They're always that's one piece of. So this is more moving into the women's side of it. I heard it a long time ago, but it's probably just the best advice that women think with their emotions, and whatever those emotions are at that time is what they're gonna do. And that's it's all well and good, I guess. I get it, but the problem with that is that emotions shift so quickly, especially modern women with all these psychological issues and everybody on antidepressants and lithium and bipolar and ADHD and alcohol and weed and you name whatever drug they might be doing. Those emotions are fucking changing like the weather. Um, so you never know what you're gonna get. And guys are, you know, for that recent example of mine, having a good night with a girl and then ghosting. That night, she was in the emotion then. It all made sense then at that time. It all made sense. But next day, you wake up, start thinking about her. Maybe her ex-boyfriend hit her up and that struck up some old feelings, or maybe her friend gave her grief about, kissing me, or, whatever. Those emotions can shift so quickly that if you're living your life based on emotions, you're really never going to lead into any stability at all. Even let's say you've been in a long-term relationship and you're basing judgments and actions off emotions. Is it any wonder that cheating is like rampant? Not to mention, all those emotions can change within 30 minutes, they might get a new DM on Instagram, and then they're like, oh shit, that guy looks like he's got a Ferrari and hotter, or that girl's got a fatter ass, or whatever. So that's how quickly things can change when you're thinking with emotions and not logic. I get it, but it's just, it's never going to lead to anything worthwhile, I don't think. So anyway, let me wrap up my ranting here. Those are multiple reasons. There's even more. You're going to come across thousands of reasons that people ghost, but generally it's ego-driven, shame-driven, guilt-driven, or just straight up being a spineless bitch that's afraid of confrontation. That's generally probably the 99% of what you're going to see out there. Of course, there's always going to be something else, like they actually have a boyfriend or girlfriend that they didn't tell you about. They don't want you, talking to them because don't want that to, come known or whatever. So there's all that shit. But at the end of the day, another truth of women for you guys out there. If they like you, they will break fucking walls down to get to you and make up excuses about why they need to come see you, why they need to do this with you. Oh, my shoestring broke and I know you can fix that, or, a woman that's actually into you will literally open doors and break down walls to get to you and try to be around you, just in your general area. So at the end of the day, somebody that ghosts you clearly was not that into you to begin with, or they may have been in that moment. But I would say that it wouldn't make. I know it's frustrating because it's so fucking disrespectful and so immature, and I think that's why it makes me so mad. But at the end of the day, you really shouldn't get mad about it because you're just going ahead and letting something go that obviously needs to be let go anyway. If somebody's willing to ghost you, they clearly don't give a fuck about you. So, it's a double-sided sword, but don't get mad about it. Just keep moving, because shit, man, women are like the sunrise. There's always another one right around the corner. You'd be like liking this girl this week, and then next week another one comes along, and you're like, oh shit, fuck that. Oh, what? Who was the old girl? Girl from 3 months ago. Who the fuck was that? I don't even know. So you can't get stuck on the one-itis and the caring too much about one individual one, that's for sure. It's too damn many. It's too much life to live. Anyway, it's gone on long enough. I'll talk to you later.